What's going on, everybody? Lifting Joe 2.0 here. Hope everybody is having a good weekend. That your week had a great workout, and you just had a great week, period. Stay focused, stay driven, and keep it going. So, in today's episode, I want to talk about some bodybuilding history. Last episode, I talked about John De La Rosa, so I want to keep in line with Latinos in pro bodybuilding. And in this episode, I want to talk about the history of Latinos in professional bodybuilding. So one that I would love to mention, and he was one of my favorites as a kid, and as my dad's as well, was this man right here, Danny Padilla, Puerto Rican. He competed in the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He competed in the 70s in Mr. Olympia, competed through the 80s, and up to the early 90s. I remember him competing at the Niagara Falls Pro in the early 90s. But Danny Padilla was the original giant killer. We know that Lee Priest is called a giant killer. Lee Priest was the first. Let's just get that straight. He was the first Latino. He's Puerto Rican from New York. So you see this picture here. This one is from 1981 Mr. Olympia. Look at his conditioning. Now, his goal when he competed at this one was to come in so ripped that he was unrecognizable. Now, he achieved that goal because when he did get there to the Olympia, a lot of people who knew him couldn't recognize him. If you see his facial features, look at his face. You see how, there's like no fat in his face at all, nothing. The death face for sure. But let's take a look at something about Danny. Danny's conditioning. Look at how he looked here. Nobody looked as good as he did in that stage. Granted, he was going against Franco Colombo. Franco's Franco. But look at this. Definitely, he can keep up with today's conditioning. As far as today's conditioning is in bodybuilding, and he wasn't that tall. I believe he was like 5'4" or even 5'3". He's short. My dad's 5'4", and he was a great shape. And if Danny Padilla is 5'3", an inch is an inch, especially in bodybuilding. But Danny Padilla was one of the Latinos in pro bodybuilding at that time, in that era. The very few, because there weren't too many at that time. There are other ones that little later that were successful in bodybuilding that were Latino, which I'll continue talking about this series. I'm going to be talking about the history of bodybuilding. But Danny Padilla, they were the greats. Not too many people can say they were on the same stage with Arnold at the Olympia, especially in Latino. So if you've seen Pumping Iron, now you remember the scene they were doing the prejudging at the Olympia in South Africa. Ed Corning was on stage. He was a great poser. But there's this quick scene when they pan back to Arnold. And Arnold, somebody said something to Arnold. Arnold's like, hold on, I just want to see this. Look to the left of Arnold, that's Danny. So, unfortunately, he didn't get too much camera time. But he did make a little cameo there, if that's anything. But we see here that Danny was he was there with those guys, with Bill Grant, was there Franco. He was there with that same movie, because they did it with, different time, was Mr. Universe. Even though he was a pro, he was already had done the Olympia. Karen Waller, uh, Mike Katz, the famous, where's my T-shirt scene after the show. He was there. He's seen all this. He was there at that Olympia and was part of that little section there of pumping iron. Would have been great if they had put him up more on camera, but Arnold's Arnold. You can't, but he's continued to compete through the '80s. Uh, he was definitely one of the great bodybuilders. Very low key now. Not too many interviews, which is unfortunate. People should look for these guys because their style of training is amazing. Now, I saw a snippet of an interview that he did about how he prepped for this Olympia. Uh, he pretty much did a double split. He said he was able to eat more due to the fact he was doing double split, and he said that when he would go visit his parents, it was about 15-mile difference, or it took a while for him. So he would take his bike, go take the bike up to work. I mean, to his parents' house, and then go back home on a bike. That was his cardio. Then he said he would eat, whole like 10 cups of yogurt. But the double split he would do, he was able to eat more due to the fact that he was doing more. So that helped him to get really conditioned and get really tight. Now, let's look at his back double in this picture. Look at the rhomboids, the trapezius, the delts, all together. Now, should he have won? I think he should. But I was just a child and I wasn't there. Remember, seeing something in pictures or on TV is different when you see it in video. And when you see it in person, excuse me. When you see it in person, different. But uh, if you had to ask people at that time, some will say Danny should have won back then. But supposedly back in those days, there was little politics going on. It is just like in every other sport and other jobs too. That happens too. But you can see the conditioning. His back is phenomenal here, right? And then look at the front double. Look at the vacuum pose. Vacuum pose was normal back in the day. It wasn't something that just for today's classic physique posers and bodybuilders do. That was something normal back in the day, right? If you saw recently the hottie doing the vacuum, so even the open guys are doing it now. But back then, that was the norm. And look at that vacuum pose. His rib cage even looks muscular. It's crazy, right? That is an amazing shot of Danny Padilla when he was competing for the Mr. Olympia. And there's been a few Latinos that competed in Mr. Olympia, which I'll be talking about more. And it'd be great to talk about that in the future. If you know any bodybuilders that you want me to talk about, you'd like to know more about, let me know. I will definitely talk about them. Also, if you're looking for an online coach, hit me up on Lifting Joe 2.0. I do online training, help those who want to get goals and stuff. So let's go. All right. So as I finish this episode, like always, I want to give some tips on gym etiquette. Now, last episode I said when you use the weights, put it back. Here's the next thing I see that's happening in the gym. Sandals. Barefoot. When you're doing legs. Look it. Not necessary. Leave the sneakers, the shoes on. One, They'll give you some sort of protection if you happen to drop a plate on your toe. I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. You definitely want to have shoes on. Now, this whole thing, oh, you feel the plate is better. Look, at today's shoes for working out, they made it specifically for you can have the whole balance and you can feel everything, the weight and everything. The Rock has a pair of shoes on the Armour that helps with that. Sean Clarita got new ones that are out. Ronnie Coleman got ones that are out for working out, especially for legs. There's no need to take off your shoes. First of all, another thing that bothers me. Don't come into the gym with slippers on. Are you serious? Slippers? You're gonna work out with slippers on. That's not the way to do things, people. You just come in with sneakers, or you have your sneakers already. Leave them on. And if you wanna go work out, you don't have workout sneakers. Get some Converse. They're flat. There you go. That's it for me today, guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Take it easy. Stay focused. Stay driven. And keep those workouts going. Until then, peace out, folks.